And we are live with another episode of Comic Talk. It's that show brought to you by The Keeg, where we talk about this week's new comic book releases. For those of you who don't know, new DC Comics and Marvel Comics and Image Comics and Massive Publishing Comics and Distillery Comics, all the comics come out on Wednesdays. And we're here literally a day later on a Thursday to talk about everything that came out this week. What Thursday is it? It's August 29th, 2024. Talking about everything that came out. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and we got longtime guest here on the show, Maggie, Vegan Superkick. Maggie, how's it going today?
It's going pretty good. It's good to be back. It's been a while.
Has it been a while?
I feel like it has.
Even when I have you on once a month, it feels like it was only yesterday, but then it also feels like it's been a long time.
I feel like it was July.
Yeah.
Oh, that was not that long ago.
No, it might have been June. I was looking it up.
Maybe
it
it
might have been
was
June.
I don't know. The summer went by really quick.
It did. It did go by fast.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I don't even keep track of the seasons anymore, you know. So Maggie, welcome back. You're still a longtime guest. That doesn't
Good to be back.
Yeah, that doesn't expire. But we got first time guest Kody, aka Kody Collects. Kody, what's up, man? Welcome.
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Welcome to
I
the
was supposed
show.
to be on a while ago, Dimithri. I'm glad we could get this done, dude. Happy to be here.
Well, you hounded me at C2E2.
Yeah, dude. Yep.
You were running after me like paparazzi, and I was like, I guess I got to get Kody on Comic Talk.
Yep. Exactly.
No, that's not what happened for anyone out there. If you're watching us live, you're watching us on twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or you listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. But Kody and me and Christian and Drew had
Shout out Drew.
to hang out while we were in Chicago, and that was super cool. And then I popped in randomly into one of your guys' videos.
Yeah, we were recording a live podcast on the show floor, and Dimithri just walks by all of a sudden. It was really serendipitous. I guess that's the word.
Literally the country that me and my family are from, Sri Lanka. The original word, this is just a history lesson. The original name for the island was called Serendib, which is where you get serendipity from.
That's a good fact.
It was like the old ancient name.
I'll write it down.
Yeah. You know? So
Christian said you ruined our shot, by the way, in the pod. You ruined the whole thing.
I see Christian in the chat. What's up to everybody in the chat? We got Comic Book Stash, aka Christian. We got Curly Insane Guy saying, "Oh, cool, fun fact." See, that's positive. And then Christian saying, I ruined the shot." So yeah. Also, Christian says, "What is this? A crossover episode?" Yeah, it is. So.
Yep.
But we all read a bunch of comics this week. You know, let's get into it. It was a good week, right? It was a good week for comics.
I think so.
I'll just say when Dimitri's like, "Hey, which week do you want to be on?" I immediately picked August 28th. I'm like, this is the most stacked week of the month. It's got to be August 28th. Got a lot of good stuff here.
I did the same thing. I like to look ahead and be like, what is coming out that I want to talk about?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you like Maggie, and I mean, might as well talk about it real quick. Maggie, you already scheduled for September, and you purposely picked the day that Dazzler comes out, the new Dazzler comic.
I did. I'm ready to talk about it.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about Dazzler when we get to X-Men comics that came out this week, because weirdly enough, there was a lot of X-Men comics this week. So, I mean, that's what I'm here for, really. What did you guys read this week?
You know, I think that this week it was just a strong week from DC, in my opinion, and the indies really brought it. So I think the indies were super strong. But yeah, you want to get into specifics, like get into the nitty gritty?
It's your first time here, so I don't want to throw you to the wolves. Maggie, you want to show them how we do it here?
I was going to throw him.
Show me the ropes. Show me the ropes.
I was going to throw him, but that's all right.
I don't mind being thrown. You can throw me.
No. It's okay. It's actually interesting because I feel like I read way more Marvel. So I'm excited to hear about what you read. But I read Fantastic Four, number 24. Trying to keep this all together here. Hello Darkness, issue 2 from Boom Studios. X-Force issue 2. What else? Okay, this is a stupid question.
What?
Is it NYX or is it NYX?
It's
That's a
NYX.
great question.
NYX. Okay, I
Yeah.
read NYX.
Number
Issue
2.
2.
Okay.
Um, Life #1 from Distillery.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, and then did White Boat also come
I
out?
think White
White
Boat
Boat
2
issue
came
White
out, I
2.
Boat 2
believe.
came
Yep.
out.
You know, I didn't read that one.
Oh.
I have it, but I didn't read it. But I did
Poser.
read Life #1. I know. Don't
Well,
tell.
it's weird when Distillery when they have 2 releases in the week, right? Sometimes it's
Yeah,
it's like,
well, and
oh,
like Cody, you know the problems because like we're part of the blessed community that gets some of these books a little ahead of time. I don't mean
So
anything, but
if they're
like
gonna
sometimes I
send
read
it, they're not
something.
gonna send it. It's
Yeah,
like,
so sometimes I read something like before you do. And
right.
I don't know
You
when it
maybe want
actually
to save the $9. Distillery, they're good, but they're charging that $9. So, who
But it's
knows?
premium, right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
premium.
It's
It's
Yeah.
definitely
premium.
premium.
If
Worth it.
Distillery is out there and wants to sponsor Comic Talk, you know, I've felt their books in my hand. I've gone
Yep.
by their booths everywhere I go, and I flip through
Beautiful
it.
books.
I still haven't jumped in. I still haven't.
Oh, you got to.
They
You
got
gotta
a
read
lot of great
Somna.
creators.
Is
Somna's the
Somna
good the one.
is Somna the hmm
Yeah, it
sort
is.
of
It
Spicy
is
one.
Dimitri.
Okay.
It
If
is.
you like
I mean, I do,
women's bodies, you
but
should read it.
we'll see. Okay. We'll maybe we should do a Patreon only podcast episode where we talk about the spicy stuff, because I don't know
Yeah.
I don't know whether I could put that out on Twitch.
Right. Yeah, that's why I stopped myself.
Yeah.
Women's
I mean,
bodies.
we can we can talk about whatever we want here, but I don't know if Curly Insane guy in the chat is here for it, but no, yeah, he's here for it. He says spice in all capital letters. So
I'm trying to think. Okay, so there were a couple things that came out this week that I didn't get to read,
what didn't you get to?
but I went ahead and bought them anyway because I have a problem. Something is Killing the Children. I am a couple issues behind on that, but I did buy this week. And then Gotham City Sirens.
Okay, yeah. I
That's
didn't get
right.
to start it yet.
Yeah, because it's just a 4. I have all 4 issues. Haven't read any of them, but I felt like it was worth mentioning.
I mean,
And then
yeah.
Uncanny X-Men, I did not get to read. Is it 3?
What? Oh, just
2 or
regular
3.
X-Men. It's just regular X-Men.
Oh.
I could have sworn it said Uncanny.
Uncanny is the one with Rogue, Wolverine, Jubilee, and that's Gail Simone's team, and that's just 1 issue in. But X-Men,
1 issue in.
Regular X-Men it's 3 issues in, which is weird because I could have sworn X-Men issue 2 came out like 2 weeks ago. Oh, it might be one of the bi-weekly.
Is it bi-weekly?
Ones. Yeah.
Oh wait, here it is. Yeah, Uncanny. Oh, and then they gave me this. Oh. Okay. All right.
Mystery solved.
Then corrected. Didn't read it anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter.
That's all right. Okay, so that was a good list. I'll go next. I read Fantastic Four 24 also. I read NYX #2. I think I finished X-Force 2. I don't remember. I did finish X-Men 3, which I thought was the strongest issue of that line. I read Amazing Spider-Man 56. I read Flash #12. Did I understand it? No. But I read it. Aliens versus Avengers #1 I read. Nemesis Rogue Gallery #2. And then I've been shouting out I Lie Popeye #1 for a couple weeks now because I like a month and a half or something I interviewed Marcus Williams, the writer and illustrator of I Lie Popeye. So I've been releasing clips of that interview for Massive Publishing, and it is just a really good book. I'm not getting paid to say that, but I got to read it early, and now I get to talk about it. So that one's a good one. Anyway, Cody, let me know what you got.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
List.
Nice House by the Sea. James Tynan the fourth, shout out.
Okay.
We got White Boat number 2.
Hmm.
Shout out Scott Snyder. We have Zatanna Bring Down the House number 3. Gotta be honest, I'm a little surprised no one mentioned that one.
I read the first issue. I
Interesting.
haven't read 2 or 3 yet.
Gotcha. We got Batman Dark Age number 5. Pretty solid pretty Batman heavy week. I guess most weeks at DCR, but we
Yeah.
also have Batman Offworld number 5. Hot take, that might be the best Batman book on stands.
Okay.
We have Ultimate X-Men number 6 out of Marvel. Loving that Ultimate Universe.
Hmm.
Out of Skybound Image, we've got Frankenstein number 1. Some
Oh.
Universal Monsters love.
Okay.
We got Void Rivals number 12. I got Flash Gordon. See, this one, okay, this one, I don't know if I'm gonna mention it. I think my shop broke Street Day and they weren't supposed to sell this to me yet.
Yeah, I was trying to find it online on this week and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So I was like, it must, I mean, it's
I'm
either
not
a
gonna mention
password or
it
a
then.
future one.
Right, I don't want to get in trouble.
Uh-oh.
And then out of Boom Studios, we got Hello Darkness number 2, little horror anthology love there.
Okay. Okay.
No X-Men books. If you guys noticed, Christian said he's gonna try to bully me into getting X-Men. I wanted to jump on with this From the Ashes, but I feel like the jumping on point came and went so fast. I feel like it already passed me by. You know what I mean? Is that crazy
because
to
there's
say?
still books that have yet to be released.
Still
Yeah.
books that have yet to be. I mean, I should just do the main titles, maybe. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
oh yeah, definitely.
I
Like,
don't know.
I mean, Maggie, you're a new reader for that.
Listen, if anybody's gonna convince you, let it be me, because I have been terrified my entire life to read
Yeah.
X-Men comics, and I just told my shop I wanted to pull everything, and they have pulled everything for me, and it's like admittedly like tripled what I spend at the comic shop.
That's what I'm saying.
But
If X-Men was its own publisher, it would be like the second largest publisher. It'd be crazy.
for
Well,
real.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to touch the rest of Marvel. I don't know if you guys, I've said this before, but like just generally speaking, X-Men's like my number one comic, whatever. Like
100%,
all the
yeah.
different titles, but like X-Men. Then it's mostly DC, and then it's the rest Marvel. So like
Right.
Marvel to me, without X-Men, doesn't rank as high. Like I love DC comics, but X-Men barely edges it out. And then, the rest of Marvel.
Interesting.
They're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
great. They're all great.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, my heart,
For me, and like I don't know if you've read previous X titles or anything like that, but for me, I didn't really have much to go off of besides like a couple limited series and like solo series and things like that. So for me, not having a absolute clue what was going on in the Krakoan era, it's been fine.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You guys make a lot of good points. I think Christian and I, we did a thing where we tried to read like a couple of, the starts of a bunch of runs, just try to get a feel for X-Men. So I'm familiar with the characters and stuff like that. But you're right, I just got to jump on. I mean, From the Ashes is the best jumping on point we're gonna get for a while.
For the next
so,
5
Yeah.
years,
like easily, right? So I gotta.
Yeah.
Right now's the time to jump on. Krakoa was great. I loved the whole Krakoan age. And in the beginning, it was a good hopping on point. And at a certain point, it's like, okay, like I'll give you an abridged list of like what to read to catch up. And then when it was petering out, I was like, well, you might as well wait a couple months and then hop on this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just know there are a lot of X-Men titles that are coming out from the Ashes, which is this new kind of refreshed restart sort of thing. There's a lot of titles, but like you don't have to keep reading all the titles. At a certain point, I know, like, I don't think Maggie's gonna need me to tell her, but like I would be like, hey, you could just drop, like, you're a couple issues into a title that you don't like, just drop that and stick with the X-Men titles you do like.
Yeah.
I do like, yeah.
Um,
No, and it's a good point because they have stacked creative teams. I mean, this refresh, like you mentioned, Gail Simone. I mean, I don't know, you got like Ryan Stegman, I think, somewhere
Yeah.
in there. All
Yeah.
sorts of different. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I already have my favorites, which, I mean, we'll go over when we get to the X-Men stuff. Before we get started, or as we get started, I want to know what your guys' picks of the week are. That number one pick, so we can touch on everything. Again, shout out to Curly Insane Guy and Comic Book Stash having their own conversation in the Twitch chat, but that's what it's for. So thanks, because sometimes that Twitch chat is empty.
Ultimate X-Men. Yeah. I like Ultimate X-Men, Christian. I've been liking it.
I am a couple issues behind because I stopped because I don't like Ultimate X-Men. But I will catch back up, but it's my least favorite title out of the Ultimate titles. Line.
Gotcha.
But that's just me. And it's weird because X-Men's my favorite, but like Ultimate X-Men, it's not hitting.
Maybe I like it a lot more maybe because it I don't know what's the word for it. It felt more like a fresh restart, like a totally fresh restart. You know what I mean? Like it's a totally fresh jumping on point. So I've been liking it a lot, but
it just seems like an indie comic that's not X-Men, which is fine, but it's given that vibe. So if that's your vibe, then that's good.
You know, it's we can get into it. Ultimate X-Men's in the stack. You're right. You're right. We shouldn't. I don't want to.
All right. Who wants to go first? Who really wants
to
go
first? I'll go first.
Go ahead.
All right.
So it's kind of tough, right? Because you go into the week, you think one thing's going to be your pick of the week, but then you read them and you're trying to pick between two.
Yeah.
I still think I got to go Nice House by the Sea, James Tynion in the fourth, Alvaro Martinez Bueno on the art with Jordi Belair coloring.
Is it the same?
I mean, this book's beautiful.
Same artist as The Lake?
Yes, it is. Okay. Same creative team. This is like the sequel series. And it is a true sequel series. You do need to read the first one. I don't know, man. Did you guys read the first one at all? Or?
Yeah.
I did not.
I got convinced because of this show. That's really what this show is for. Is for convincing me to read outside my comfort zone.
It really is
selfish
like
purposes.
It really is like a top 5 series for me of all time. It's just so like the concept without getting too deep into it. We just want to do no spoilers or anything. It's the end of the world and these people are in this house and it's kind of like what comes of that, I guess. That's without spoiling it. It gets like way sci-fi and out there. But that's just like the intro, I guess.
Yeah. Like so what the connection is. What's the connection between these random people at this house during the end of the world?
And this is by the lake.
This is by the lake, yes.
Okay.
And by the sea differs in that it's kind of the same setup. And, part of it is the spoiler is, why there's another house and why there's another group of people at the end of the world. But the difference is these people knew that the world was going to end before it ended. And they were like, I want to be the last person alive. Whereas in by the lake, it was kind of like a flip on the concept where they didn't know that they got invited and then the world ended and they're like, oh, now we're stuck here or whatever. So yeah. Very great series.
I have The Lake, The Nice House on the Lake, deluxe hardcover edition.
Yeah, I got it up there.
Because
beautiful.
Yeah. I read it single issues, right? Like month to month or whatever. But then I haven't cracked open the deluxe edition to look at it. But like it's there in my library. So it was a must-have is really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I will say one of the downsides to a series like this where there's so many characters is, man, it being month to month, sometimes it is hard to remember this cast of characters.
Confusing.
So like this, for example, this is a list of characters from
Rick and Morty are in it?
That's an ad. Not Rick and Morty. Ignore Rick and Morty. But all those characters over there, these are the characters from the first series, right?
Could you put it up to your camera again? Just so.
Yeah.
There we go.
There's an equal amount of characters for the sequel series. So now you have I don't know, 24 characters you gotta like remember and stuff like that. So it does suffer in that way where month to month it's kind of hard to remember like that. But dude, Maggie, if I was in your position, I would order the deluxe. I'm binge reading that, and you're gonna have a great time. It really is like one of the best series of all time.
So I have the single issues. I actually found them in our inventory, and I remember setting it aside and being like, I want to read this. So, but now my issue is I can't remember where I put that box, but do have the series somewhere.
Yep. That's what got me into James Tynion the fourth, and like Dimithri said, it really opened up my eyes to, even though it's DC Black Label, it's
Mhm.
not really. It doesn't have anything to do with the DC universe. It could
Yeah.
be an Image comic. You know what I'm saying? It just so happens
Yeah.
to be under Black Label.
I mean, it's like
But yeah,
Vertigo. DC Black Label is now what Vertigo was, where Vertigo titles sometimes were in the DC universe, but a lot
right.
of the time they were just
Sometimes they
telling
could be.
fresh new stories, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of carrying that Vertigo torch. That's like instead of being like an Elseworlds, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it is carrying that torch where it's a totally, you know, separate from the DC universe we know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's got great artwork as well. Especially issue number 1 had some sequences that I don't know, man. I don't even know what kind of art style it was.
I haven't
They're
read
getting
it.
they're getting wild with some of this stuff. Yeah.
All I know is that the characters did get confusing in the first book, the on the lake, and then what gets extra confusing is what are we looking at?
I don't know. Can you guys like
Is that
all
Mickey
the
Mouse?
swirly kind of
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe it's pixelated because it's I don't know, not good quality or
No, it's
something,
not
but
pixelated. I can see it, but
it's
like, okay, all
like I
right.
don't even know what to call it, but I don't know.
Um,
Anyways,
I was just gonna say in the beginning series they go on hiatus in between like issues 6 and 7, and then when they come back with issue 7, they purposely, and I don't want to spoil anything, they purposely mess up something. They like I don't want to spoil it, but like there is something different in issue 7 that they don't have in issue 6, and they play it off like this is just how it's always been. And it
Mhm.
messes me as a reader trying to figure out like it went on hiatus. I'm so confused. You know what I'm talking about, Kody?
it's a very trippy kind of like mind-bending reality type of book.
But they don't tell you they
Um,
changed anything until
right,
like
because like on its surface, I mean the premise is just, you know, all these people in a house at the end of the world, but it really
yeah,
does get mind-bending for
yeah,
sure. But I would recommend it.
yeah, definitely. Again, I mean I bought it for my library. Like it's a must-have. Um, Curly Insane Guy says waterfront property in this economy.
It is
Right?
the
Uh,
end of the world, so
you know,
Why not?
yeah. My pick of the week, I I originally was gonna say Fantastic Four number 24, and it was great. I'm surprised. I have something else. And I'm super surprised by this. It's Aliens versus Avengers number 1.
there's a lot of buzz online about this book. I feel like I really missed out,
It's
dude.
Hickman. It's
It's
Jonathan
Hickman and
Hickman.
Assad Ribic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some panels from this dude. It looks crazy.
Okay, so I'm not, let me preface this by saying I'm not an Alien fan. I don't hate Alien or Aliens. I just get scared, so I've never seen the movies.
Okay.
Mhm.
They're
I've
not
read
that scary, I guess. But I guess I don't know your scare levels, but yeah.
if a kid jumps out at me, I will punch him.
Right. So yeah, maybe you don't see.
That's my scare level. Like
Yeah,
jump
yeah.
scares in real life, in movies, I will throw a punch.
You would not survive in my house.
Yeah.
Don't go to a haunted house with this guy, dude. Jeez.
I don't go. I went to you guys don't know. Do you guys know Knott's Berry Farm?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a New England thing, right?
No, it's me. It's over California.
Never mind. I'm thinking of a different berry farm.
It is owned by Cedar Farms or whatever. It is owned by them,
Hmm.
but they start off as their own thing. So Knott's Berry Farm every year does Knott's Scary Farm, which is like the
Oh.
go-to Halloween thing in Southern California. Like there's Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios, sure, but like Knott's Berry Farm, like Knott's Scary Farm is like the go-to. Anyway, I went there once when I was like 18, and I had to walk out of the final maze with my fists up, just being like, just don't jump out at me anymore. Just know what you're getting into, because I can't
You're giving
deal with
them
jump
warnings.
scares. Yeah.
Dang.
Anyway, Aliens versus Avengers number 1. I've read the Aliens comics. I've read the Predator comics that Marvel is doing, right? And so, like, I know Aliens. This is an alternate universe where the aliens come to Earth and essentially mankind is doomed. It's Marvel Earth. So, like, it's Jonathan Hickman writing this alternate timeline of Marvel Earth where it's a little bit in the future. So, like, even from the get-go of this series, from the start, T'Challa is older and he has a son who has electric powers, as far as we know, assuming it's Storm's kid, you know, in this alternate timeline. But like everybody is older and the aliens get seeded on multiple planets in the Marvel universe, and like once they're seeded, like the apocalypse happens, right? And so there's one city left in the on this Marvel Earth, and a bunch of old old versions of characters, like old Bruce Banner, old Valeria Richards, that sort of thing. Anyway, it's really good. Like the twists and turns in this are crazy.
So I gotta say, right, I tend to usually I avoid like the crossover tie-in stuff. Like I'm trying to think of an example, like Godzilla versus King Kong versus Justice League.
Yeah.
I know those series can be fun, you know what I'm saying? I thought this series was just gonna be that, right? Fun series. But people are online are talking like this is like, I don't know, the next big thing or something. So I really do have FOMO for missing out on this one. Because like you're saying, I do like I'm not the biggest Aliens fan, but I am a fan of Aliens. So that it's a very interesting concept the way you put it, especially them being older in the future and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make it so that it's not like Marvel Zombies where like everybody's roughly at the age that we all know them, and then it diverts to like zombies. In this, it's like a different Marvel Earth. We know that from the get-go.
It's kind of it sounds kind of like I mean not exactly, but it sounds kind of like Dark Age, Marvel whatever. Yeah, that one
kind of
where like the power went out or whatever, and they were kind of in the future a little bit.
Yeah, and because they jump forward
post-apocalyptic. Yeah.
Yeah. In this, it starts in 30 years down the line, and it continues from there. I think it's because this alien idea has been brewing and like already killing worlds by the time we get to the start of the story. And so I would dare to say, just from this first issue, it's one of my top comic book crossovers of all time. And
nice.
Another one ranks high is Batman Fortnite. And I don't know if you read Batman Fortnite. Batman Fortnite is one of the best comic crossovers ever. And I don't mean crossover events. I mean like multi-media, multi-franchise crossovers. Batman Fortnite was way better than it needed to be. I thought it was just going to be a cash-in. There's a Marvel Fortnite one that's just kind of like whatever. Batman Fortnite, so good.
Who wrote the Batman Fortnite? I'd be curious to know. Maybe it's like a hotshot writer, dude. Maybe like how this one's Jonathan Hickman. Maybe that's the...
I'll keep it totally real. We only bought them for the codes in the back.
That's what I was going to say too. They had the codes that were a big draw for a lot
I didn't read them. My son read them and he was like, they're good. Like he doesn't,
I mean, they're really good. Christos Gage. I don't know who Christos Gage is.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Not familiar.
But this one's Jonathan Hickman. So Aliens vs. Avengers #1. That's my pick of the week.
I got to get that in a trade or something, dude.
Yeah, I mean, unless you feel like you're going to get spoiled by the twists and turns,
That's good. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Because that is a series where you don't want to get it spoiled for you for sure. So.
There's something wild that happens at the end of this issue, and I don't know if you guys want me to spoil it or not, or whether you're going to pick it up. So.
Dang, yeah.
I want to talk about it.
I don't care. I'm not gonna read
it. No, you can say it. You can say it. You can.
You want?
I'll probably forget.
All right. For anyone listening who doesn't want the spoiler, like fast forward like 30 seconds. Okay, basically, a face hugger jumps onto Miles Morales' face, and they're like, everybody's like, he's dead. He's gonna there's nothing we could do. Just burn the body, because they're very matter of fact. Like once it's aliens, right? But the thing is, Miles has this black costume, and suddenly his black costume disappears and goes on the face hugger. He was wearing a symbiote the whole time. And the symbiote gets on the face hugger to save Miles' life, and then gets onto Miles' chest and becomes a face hugger insignia with a spider thing. So it's So he I don't know. It's crazy.
That is
Whoa, actually, that's crazy because the face hugger probably has 8 legs, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
bet you it. No
crazy.
shit.
Ew.
Oh
And the
man, that's
face hugger
crazy.
doesn't have like a mind of its own, so the symbiote's like, whatever, I'll just keep I'll keep the body. Um in order to save Miles's life. So anyway, it's my
That's
spoiler.
cool. Jonathan Hickman is what a guy, huh? What a guy.
Yeah.
That's
It
cool.
works. This crossover works.
Right. Like just I can just imagine Jonathan Hickman like symbiotes. What if symbiotes in the face hugger? Like, you know what I mean? Like I can just see him.
It's like, but it's almost like turning the symbiote inside out, right? Because the face hugger's
Right.
on you, and then the symbiote comes out over the face hugger.
Right. Dang. With the Sod Rubik's art, I mean, I'm sure that was beautiful to look at. So
Huh.
It's funny because the other characters are like, all right, well, he's dead. Might as well be, so let's burn him. They're like, what is going on? It's yeah, worth checking out.
nah, that's cool, dude. That's
Yeah.
cool. Shout out Jonathan Hickman, man.
Yeah, man, Jonathan Hickman. He's also writing Wolverine Revenge, and that one was good too.
Yeah.
So Maggie, what you got?
I think I also went into this week thinking I knew what was going to be my pick of the week, but I'll redeem you a little bit, Dimitri. I think Fantastic Four 24 is my pick of the week.
It was great.
It was great. And like I think that what Ryan North is doing with this run is just spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. But yeah, this one was just I don't know, it was just good. It made you feel good after you
Yeah,
read it. You know what I
there
mean?
was a point to it, right? There's that
Yeah.
overarching. Kody, did you read this one?
So the thing about Fantastic Four, I'm reading it I guess like digitally, but I'm collecting it in trades. So I'm on issue 15, I guess. But I've been loving the run, man. I've been loving the run. I would love to collect it in singles and start collecting it in singles. It's just that I haven't been collecting it in singles, so it's like, do
Yeah.
I start now? But no, I'm with you, Maggie. I think that Ryan North has a strong voice for Fantastic Four. I'm not
Yeah.
like the biggest Fantastic Four reader. I've read Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four. Speaking of Jonathan Hickman, I read his Fantastic Four volume number 1, loved it. And then right now, actually, I'm reading the Mark Waid run. So I'm like in the Fantastic Four right now. I've been loving it. Ryan North totally has a great voice for all the Fantastic Four characters. And yeah, I think the art's pretty stellar too. It might change from issue to issue. I don't know if it's a solid, consistent artist on the run, but yeah, I think it's been great so far.
Yeah.
I think the difference that Ryan North has I mean, from a lot of no, okay, Ryan North is great because I don't want to talk bad about any other Fantastic Four writers because I've liked most Fantastic Four runs, but Ryan North loves the Fantastic Four. He loves science, and it's a huge thing.
Right.
Like he brings a level
Sci-fi.
of
He's
science.
just good at they're good just sci-fi like two arc, or two
Right.
issue arc sci-fi
Yeah.
stories.
But
I
like
think
the
it's been
science,
perfect.
like
Yeah.
the little bits and pieces that he has, like of science, is different, right? Like
Right.
he's not just exploring the Council of Reeds, where it's just
Right.
multiversal stuff. He's just talking about like particles, like particle physics, and
Yeah.
but in a science fiction sort of way. He's bringing the science back to science fiction. You know?
It's
Yeah.
I know what you mean, Dimitri. I think so. Like the arc I'm on right now is the arc. I wish I could remember the name of the villain. It's been a little bit, but it's like all the computers have formed like a mind in the cloud, and
Oh
that's like
yeah.
the villain of this arc. That's just like a totally crazy concept, but it fits. You know what I mean? Like Ryan North kind of, it's all in terms of the Marvel universe. It's kind of like I don't know, like a reflection of what's going on in our world, I guess. Whatever, but. I think it's just great sci-fi concepts all around. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it blends well too I mean, with the Fantastic Four, there's really no limit to what kind of opposition they're gonna face. You know what I mean? Like
Could be dinosaurs one
the
issue.
fucking
Could be
Fantastic Four. Yeah, exactly. So like don't treat it as just like oh, we'll just bring Doom back and have them fight Doom for 37 issues or something like that. Like I love that it's something new every couple issues. And like for me, I buy it and sometimes I don't read it and I just pick up the next issue. Like, I have not read every single issue, but you can just jump into it.
Yeah.
And it's just exciting and a different perspective every time. It's great. I'm also like you, like not a massive Fantastic Four fan, but I love this run.
I think something very smart they did in the beginning. Ryan North, props to him. Just kind of taking like the extended family Fantastic Four members off the table right there in another universe. They'll be back in a year. Like we'll figure it out later, and then he can just get back to basics, the classic sci-fi stories like we're talking about. Because as a new Fantastic Four reader, this was like literally my first run, right? And I think I didn't know Val, I didn't know Franklin, all these characters that other people might be familiar with.
Yeah.
I heard of them. I just don't know the history like some other people do. So I think it was kind of smart taking them off the board. And it's like, hey, let's just do a straightforward, 4-person Fantastic Four run, and have a lot of fun while we're doing it. And then add them back a little bit. I guess at the point I'm reading, they haven't even been introduced back into the Marvel universe quite yet. I think it might be like the next issue or something, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. There's an underlying story, Maggie, that like in this issue and the previous issue, like especially, I mean, they go into it in this issue. It's like the reason for what's going on in this that I thought was very poignant to modern day.
Yeah.
And it struck me as a Twilight Zone episode.
Like, yeah.
In a good way.
It made me it made me a little emotional. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and I don't know if it was because it was coming from Reed and like so many people write him as like a very cold character and like this sentiment was coming from him or what. I don't know, but this one in particular was really, really good. One of my favorite issues is when Ben and Johnny work at the grocery store. Have you made it there?
I guess maybe not.
No, probably not for Kody because that was like a couple of months ago.
Right, because earlier in the run, Johnny worked at like some plant or something or some office job or something like that or mechanic. I can't remember.
They always have some weird job, but they worked in a grocery store and they were like in a competition to be employee of the month, and it was really funny. I think that was the entire point of the comic. Like I don't think there was anything going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about just the more I read Fantastic Four, I'm running into things like that, Maggie, where it's just like a heartwarming story. Like this is just a one-off issue Mark Waid wrote, and it's gonna make me cry. Like like reading this Mark Waid run, I've cried probably 3 times. Like Ben Grimm has a pretty emotional moment. There's one point where he gets capped. It does come back to life in like the next issue, classic comic thing, but there's a lot of points where I'm crying during reading the Fantastic Four, more often than other superhero teams, I guess.
Yeah.
Something about the heart, you know what I mean? I guess, and some writers are better at pulling on those heartstrings than others for sure. I think Ryan North's one of them, but
yeah, agreed.
This one's really good, and the epilogue at the end of this issue was cute. Did you read that, Maggie?
Did I?
It's
I feel like I did.
After they solved the problem with like the last couple pages. It was cute.
Yeah.
And it's an homage also to something else. I won't say, which I thought was cute. All right, so those were our picks of the week, but we gotta go through all the other stuff that we read this week. Kody, you're not reading any X-Men whatsoever?
No X-Men whatsoever. No X-Men. But
jump into it.
I'm glad to talk about it, dude. Let's get into
read Ultimate X-Men? Ultimate
X-Men for sure. Yep. I've been keeping up with all the Ultimate stuff.
Okay, so let's talk Ultimate X-Men because I'm a couple issues behind. You've been liking it?
So this is good, right? So I think that, like I was saying before, I think that this offers like a really great jumping on point because, like you're saying, Dimithri, they literally don't say I don't think they say the word X-Men until literally issue number 5. Like it was last issue. We're starting to your point, it has been a little slow. We're starting to get the ball rolling. Issue number 5, issue number 6, that's really started what's piquing my interest the most. It's an introduction to this cult, the Children of the Atom, right? This take on the Children of the Atom. And I guess it's like these school children that are going to be the X-Men. They're kind of figuring out this mystery. So it gives me like a, I don't know, like a Goonies type of vibe, like a, like a Stranger Things, like just this group of kids that are way in over their head. It just so happens they're mutants or whatever.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's really I was super confused. How are they gonna rope in, X-Men? Like, how are they gonna make this into an X-Men thing? But I think Peach Momoko is starting to make me a believer, especially with these last two issues. But I wouldn't fault anybody if they're like, this is an X-Men, I'm dropping this. You know what I'm saying? I think I agree, and that might be why I like it so much. But yeah.
I read the first 4 issues, and everybody says like, oh, what I've been looking for and complaining about for the first 4 issues, like they're actually kind of create the team in the 5th in a way, like they all kind of come together. That's what I heard. And so it's like, okay, cool. That's what I've been waiting for. But at the same time, it's a fresh new take, and I can't fault anyone for it. It's a fresh new take, and if that's what you want with Ultimate X-Men, cool. But I remember like the original Ultimate X-Men, the one in like 2000, got me into reading comics like on the monthly basis. And it introduced all the X-Men, all the plot lines that they needed for the first arc in the first issue. Like they were like, we got one issue to like win over everybody. And I felt like this, if it's a slow burn and they're waiting until issue 5 to really give me what I want, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it really is just like,
anyone was gonna drop this title?
Right. It really is like a, what are you looking for in an X-Men title? And I agree with longtime fans, they're probably a little disappointed with it.
Or X-Men fans in general.
Just Peach Momoko's art, I just really like. That's the thing, dude. If this wasn't called Ultimate X-Men, if this was just like some indie comic that Peach Momoko was doing, you know what I'm saying? I think it would hit pretty hard. Maybe the X-Men is a negative for some, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. You know? If this was a group about, because essentially they're all like Japanese schoolgirls, right? Like they're like right? And so it's like, okay, a group of superpowered Japanese schoolgirls, written and art by Peach Momoko. That sounds like almost like more palatable to me than saying that this is Ultimate X-Men. You know?
I'm interested to see where it goes. I really do think, and it's tough. I mean, you can't, have someone keep pulling until 6 issues. I mean, that's just, if they're not feeling it, they're not feeling it. But it is issue number 6 kind of ripped the Band-Aid off. Like, I'm totally in for it.
Okay.
With the introduction of this cult.
Okay.
And now the kids are gonna be going up against this kind of cult type of thing.
I'm gonna jump back in. I will jump back in. I just think that what if Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 1 was about like Betty Brant at the Daily Bugle?
Right.
Like that's what it would be like. But they didn't pull that with Spider-Man. They knew what they wanted with Spider-Man, which is
right. It still felt like Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like issue number 1 of Ultimate X-Men, as much as I loved it, it wasn't screaming X-Men at me.
It wasn't screaming Ultimate or X-Men.
Right.
You know? So let's talk about the actual X-Men titles though, because Maggie has jumped in to the deep end.
Aren't you so proud?
I am.
Drowning, some might say. I don't know if I would.
Are you drowning? Are you drowning in the deep end?
I'm holding up. But I'm just now realizing that my shop gave me X-Men 2 and 3, but not any more Uncanny X-Men. It's a lot.
Because there's only 1 issue of Uncanny. As of this point, Uncanny X-Men has 1 issue. And X-Men has 3.
So X-Men, it sounds like X-Men's bi-weekly. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think X-Men's bi-weekly. There's a couple of bi-weekly issues in this new run. Or like
I've got to step up my visits. I feel like that will solve a majority of my problems.
Here's a question. Here's a question for you, Maggie. What's your favorite X title right now?
I knew you were going to ask that, so I brought them up here.
I'm going to write it down.
I think NYX might be my favorite.
Did you read this one? NYX?
That's what Christian said, too. He said NYX.
Yeah.
Was like his number 1 or 2.
It's one of my top titles, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the characters or I don't know what it
Oh, you got
is.
Laura Kinney in that team?
Oh yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
I'd read
yeah,
and it's
that.
yeah.
not even a
And
team
Kamala
right
Khan.
now.
Yeah, we need to sell that to me, dude. I'd read
No,
that. She's cool.
It's
I
not a
know.
team, which I think is kind of the purpose of the book. It's just young adults that we know, mutants that we know, but they're young adults in New York in the next step of their life. So it might as well like it's a CW show, it's an HBO Max show, it's a whatever. Like it's one of those like
It's Sex Lives of College Girls,
it's kind of in a
Does
way.
feel, yeah, like a coming of age
which is
kind
coming back in
of.
November, by the way.
I saw clips. I actually I've seen every episode of the first few seasons.
It's
So
good. It's great.
it's a
Yeah.
horrible name for a TV show.
It gets you hooked. I mean, me and my wife
It's
clicked it. You know what I'm saying? We
it
checked
sounds like
it
a
out.
porno. That's what it sounds like. Like, why would it be called The Sex Lives of College Girls? It's a weird
Nah,
name.
it hooks you in, man.
Yeah, you remember it.
Ugh,
So
I
there's
just
that.
wish it was a better name. But no, I like the series.
Ah.
It's funny. Anyway, NYX. I mean Maggie. It is a title about the girls and the gays, right? That's literally.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm attracted to it. I will say strong number two was, let me pull it up because I can't remember. X-Force.
X-Force.
Mm,
Yeah, that's with the
I
girls
don't
and the
think I
gays.
finished it.
Okay.
The X-Force is like the spy corner of the X-Men world, right?
It's the Black
That
Ops. It's Black Ops team essentially.
that's a team that interests me the most. Like I think Rick Remender has an X-Force run, right?
Yeah,
That's an
yeah.
Omni I've got my eyes on because I think that would appeal to me, kind of the spy angle to it. So
Everybody loves Rick Remender's run on X Force.
yeah, I've got quite a nice Rick Remender collection growing. You guys see all the hardcovers there. I
Oh,
gotta add I
yeah,
gotta add some Rick Remender Marvel work to it as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't finish X Force 2, but it was better than X Force 1.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Because I
It's
was
weird.
okay with X Force 1. I was just like, whatever.
It
mm,
feels like they're gonna be, without, spoiling anything, but it feels like they're gonna be in different locations for every single issue. So, like issue two, they went to Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
So like at the end of every issue, you're presented with the next issue's problem, which I
Mm-hmm.
like. I thought issue one was fun, but here's the deal. I have also become a fan of Deadpool over the last couple months. So like I was just excited to see my guy.
Are you reading the
Deadpool's on
current
the team.
comics?
I am reading the current
I
comics.
like the current comics. I like.
I'm a few issues behind. I technically haven't pulled it, so I just like walk in and grab it whenever I remember, but I need to pull it, especially before, this big thing happens and I can't find issue number 7. Um,
what
but
what happens? Oh, Deadpool dying, right? Deadpool's dying soon or something?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I believe his daughter is gonna be the new Deadpool.
A
Okay.
new Deadpool.
Which Marvel has, if they wanted to keep that a secret, they've done a dog shit job at that. But
I hope it doesn't
I
happen.
didn't want to be the person to spoil that for anybody. But
I hope it doesn't happen because I like his daughter, and I like what they're doing with his daughter in this current series written by Cody Ziegler. But
yeah,
I don't want her as a replacement. I want her as a sidekick. She's just a
I think
kid.
it'll be fun. Yeah,
She's a kid.
I don't know.
As someone who doesn't read a lot of Marvel, guys, I gotta say, man, people are dying like flies over there. You got Doctor Strange dying, Wanda died, I think.
No, she's
Moon
alive.
Knight dead.
Moon Knight is came back this week, I think, in phases of the Moon. No, he came back.
Haven't been keeping up.
I think with Blood Hunt, he came back, and then there's a new miniseries called Phases of the Moon Knight.
Didn't Thor die in Blood Hunt? Did I see that somewhere or no? I didn't read Blood Hunt.
No, he didn't die. But like a lot of people, I mean, Miles became a vampire in Blood Hunt. So,
Like officially?
and he's a vampire right now. Currently, Miles is a vampire.
Huh.
But they'll fix that.
It's kind of badass, actually.
But vampires also got rid of their sun sensitivity at the end of Blood Hunt. So vampires can go out into the world now.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah.
Um,
They don't have to hang out in nightclubs that rain blood down on you.
No,
I feel like they're always hanging out at nightclubs that rain blood down on you.
Yeah. What else stood out for you, Kody, this week?
Man, listen, I gotta tell you guys.
We're gonna have to rush through everything else. Like Maggie,
I got you.
Maggie said,
it gets chaotic.
It gets chaotic. It's chaos. It ends up being.
I didn't lie.
There are certain people that we have on the show, regular guests, that can't.
Drew, I bet
talking.
you Drew is one of them.
Drew's one of them.
Yeah, dude. I've done a couple pods
I'm the
with
same
that
way.
Drew guy.
It's hard to stop talking about something that you love, but when I'm like, I'm always like, you got 10 seconds to talk about a title. It goes on 5 minutes, and it's like, we're running out of time. So,
I got you.
We'll get through everything with some quick thoughts as we close this episode.
For sure.
Yes, what else do you really want to talk about, Kody?
The other thing I was gonna, having a hard time pick between the pick of the weeks. We got White Boat out of Distillery. Like I said, Scott Snyder, Francisco Francavilla on the art and the colors. This is just such an awesome book, man. I guess like the concept, right? Like the guy's like been shanghaied, he's been stolen on a cruise ship, and he's been brought to this kind of creepy island. And it's pretty mysterious, kind of what the cruise ship's all about, what the island's all about. But I really do think that Scott Snyder and Francisco Francavilla just work so well together. So yeah, I've been liking most things that Distillery's putting out, but this is probably number 2 for me right after Somna.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely recommend checking out White Boat if you're into some nautical themed horror, I guess.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Maggie, you got one that you really want to talk about?
Life, issue number 1. Also,
I missed that one. I missed that one.
I know. You probably have it.
I probably. It's probably one of these. I gotta unbox.
It's really fun. It is a story told from 2 different perspectives, which I find to be really refreshing and fun. Basically about these criminals who somehow the government or someone has figured out how to inject them with something to make them live longer. So if they are supposed to be serving multiple life sentences, they have to serve every single life sentence.
Oh, damn.
They are abandoned on a prisoner planet, and on the opposite side of this story, there is a prisoner who's just been released who his associates convince him to get on a ship, go to this prisoner planet where they think everyone's dead, and get into this vault that they think is there to get, one big final heist to kind of get all the riches in the world or whatever. And so the end of the first issue ends with these stories kind of meeting in the middle. And every issue is going to have both perspectives of this story, which I think is really cool. I think it's really interesting. If you want to know
super
the story's
cool.
worth the price, it's absolutely worth the price because you really get 2 stories in every comic.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool concept. I like that them meeting in the middle too. What do we got? Brian Azzarello and Stephanie Phillips. Shout out, man. That's a pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
All right. At some point I'm gonna have to jump into Distillery Comics.
Yeah. The best part about them is their series are like 3 issues long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's what I'm not built that way though. That's some people like that. But
you
for
like
me,
the content. You like the long runs.
You do.
I want to get invested in a character, right? Like, or a story or whatever. I love being able to like see a character grow over time. Hopefully,
Yeah.
And sure, the same odds are like I give up on a series, a couple issues in, sure. But like, if I really like something, I'm there. I'm committed.
Well, I bet, they're still in their infancy. I would imagine that if some series really took off, you'd get, some spin-offs or longer series, things like that.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing. Yeah, I think they're still in like their infancy, like Maggie said, where Yeah, I don't know what the plans are for like some of this. Like I think Becky Cloonan has said that she wants to do like something else in the Stamna universe, but
Mm,
Yeah.
it's just like, does that make sense? But yeah, I would like to see stuff like that from Distillery.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
Same.
right. Hello Darkness number 2. Both of you read it?
Mm.
hmm
Good? Not good? What's up?
Um, so I guess like for me, right? I think that I like horror anthologies. I like the idea of horror anthologies. I think they have a place on the comic book stands. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad the idea is kind of coming back and kind of taking off. This one isn't my favorite horror anthology out there. There's another one that's out of Oni Press called Epitaphs from the Abyss. It's like one of the old EC comics that, revival that they've been doing.
Mm.
And that one has a little bit more weight to me. Maybe the creators are attached, I'm more familiar with. It seems like Hello Darkness is kind of like their proving ground for talent that, it's like, just try them out type of thing.
Mm.
So a lot of names that, maybe I'm not familiar with,
But I mean,
but
Garth Ennis is one of the people.
no, yeah, they did bring on, they brought Garth Ennis and Becky Cloonan on for a story. Becky Cloonan's doing the art for it.
Mm.
And then they have like a Tinian one that, with the team from Something is Killing the Children, they're going to be doing some mini stories at some point, I think.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I don't know. This one didn't hit as hard as number one for me. I think my plan for it is to maybe keep pulling it until the first collected edition is like that would be the first collected edition,
Mm.
and then I'd probably drop the series. But for some people, man, I think this is perfect. If they love horror, if they love horror anthologies, I think this is perfect for them. So
Okay. Maggie, you digging it? No?
I'd say that I agree with Kody because now that you mention it, I thought the first 6 issues were gonna have like a Something is Killing the Children side
yeah,
story, and there wasn't one in this.
I'm
Which,
wondering if that was a lead up into like Something is Killing the Children. I know it's like they're relaunching the series. I'm wondering if
yeah,
that's what it is, or maybe it's a Hello Darkness 3 that story is going to continue. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
yeah, I
maybe
was
so.
surprised to not see it there.
I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, I like it. I like the concept of it. I like the artists that are on here. Like, I have the Jenny Frison variant. Tula Lote is doing some of the art, and Becky Cloonan again.
The
Um,
I'll say real quickly, the A cover got my video pulled on TikTok, so be
Oh.
careful
hate when
showing
that
these.
What? There's
I don't know,
nothing. That's
dude.
nothing.
I've seen race your stuff on TikTok. That's all I'm gonna say. It's
Right.
trying to get appealed,
Yeah.
but it ruined my new comic book day video. That's all I'm gonna say. But whatever.
My, mm,
We gotta
But
move
I,
that
on.
clown
So if you
one, the
got
clown one you're
closing
on was
thoughts on
pretty
that.
good, but it didn't like have any staying power. It's kind of like you read the story and you kind of move on with your day, sort of thing. Where the
yeah,
Epitaphs from the Abyss one, I feel like some of those were like Twilight Zone things, like you were saying earlier, Dimitri, where
Yeah.
it's got like that extra twist that maybe it makes you think about it after you're done reading it for a little longer. These ones are just kind of short, fun horror stories. Nothing too
yeah, like
beyond
two
that, I
sentence
guess.
horror stories from Reddit kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only true complaint is I think that they should have just given Garth Ennis his own miniature series when it came to this because he's been in both of it's like a part 1 and 2 kind of thing. And it takes up half of issue 2.
Uh,
Yeah, it
And
really
like
does.
it's
It's
really wordy and it's good, don't get me
right.
wrong.
It's
It's a really good concept about the end of times kind of thing. But it's like, damn man, at this point, just give him a 4-part series. Just let him do his own thing. You know what I mean?
It might
Uh,
literally be half. Okay, it's 2 pages off of half, I think. It's 2 pages off of half
yeah,
of the comic. It's like
which is fine.
fine. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
but
point.
yeah, I like it. I'm a big fan of Boom Studios, and I'm gonna definitely keep pulling this. I think that number one was really strong, and I do think that Boom is really good at horror.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna see it through for sure.
Yeah. They took a big swing. I mean,
Yeah,
trying to like I imagine trying to get this across the finish line was kind of tough, but I'm glad it's hitting comic book stands, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
hopefully it
100%.
has hopefully it has an audience, I guess. So
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna go through some of mine real quick, and then we will get through everything else. Shout out to I Lied Popeye #1 that came out this week. Check out my interview with Marcus Williams. I couldn't really talk about this. Like, I got to read it early, but I didn't get to really talk about it per se. I only got to talk about the public stuff. But Popeye, it's Popeye with a DBZ flair. So the art, because Marcus Williams got known on the internet for his Popeye DBZ mashups, where like Goku and Popeye are just chilling after fighting, and so it really brings kind of this like power up anime sort of feel to Popeye, which
I mean, that cover that I'm looking at right there is pretty crazy. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good, but it still has the love and the family friendly nature. Like, he described it as TVY7, right? Like, there's fantasy violence, but it's not anything crazy. No one's making Popeye swear. Like, there's still a family friendly kind of nature to it, but there's a lot of action and mythological creatures that come from the deep, and like he's adding his own lore to it, So it's cool.
That's probably a dream come true for him. It sounds like he's a big Popeye head, so I bet that's like the craziest project ever to be attached to. So yeah, that's cool.
Then the new Nemesis miniseries, Nemesis Rogues Gallery, issue 2. Mark Miller has taken his Miller World titles to Dark Horse. They're no longer at Image Comics, and this one is whatever. I don't know. I'm just reading it because I don't know. I don't know why I'm reading it. It's Mark Miller. I like Mark Miller, but also I'm kind of tired of it. It's
they don't even. I see the artist isn't even. Wasn't it Jorge Jimenez at some point?
On the previous one, Nemesis Strikes Again or something like that.
They don't even have the hook for me for Jorge Jimenez art on this one, so I don't know.
The art here is not bad. It's just it is what it is. I don't know what Miller World's going to be doing. I mentioned earlier I read Flash number 12, and I really only read it because I saw the Flash family on the cover, and I'm like, maybe they've changed the vibe. I didn't like I stopped reading it. It was too heady.
Yeah, I have an interesting relationship with this series as well, Dimitri. I'm with you. Where like coming out of the Jeremy Adams stuff where it's family heavy, then you get into the Simon Spurrier, he just punches you in the head with like heavy sci-fi concepts. I do think he does reintroduce the I've since dropped the Flash title, but I'm trying to read it digitally and stuff like that. But at like issue 8 or something, maybe like 6, 7, 8, he reintroduces kind of the family element. So I don't know if you've gotten that far yet.
No,
but he did kind of step back.
I don't know whether I'm going to go back.
I gotcha. Yeah,
I might read issue 13, but like, especially this issue was very confusing. But at least I saw the characters that I know and love. Cool, you know? And I got to continue with that. And I mean, people talk shit about Zeb Wells' Amazing Spider-Man. I liked issue 56. What can I say? I liked it.
It's so crazy how I dropped that. I'm trying to think when I dropped that issue.
I don't blame anyone who dropped it.
22.
But I'm still going. That.
It was before Kamala died. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but this one has a really cool moment with Tombstone and Peter Parker. Basically, Tombstone's like, get into the limo. I'm just gonna spoil it because you don't seem like you're gonna read it. He's like, get into the limo. And then he's like, I know that you're friends with Spider-Man. I need to send him a message. And Peter's like, well, what do you want to tell me? And he's like, no, you're the message. I'm going to kill you right now. And so Tombstone's in the back of the limo, and Peter's like, I can't let him know that I'm Spider-Man. So Peter takes the punches as he's trying to get out of the limo, and like Tombstone's trying to beat him to death. I thought it was a really cool scene.
Oh.
They're gearing up
to Zeb Wells'
finale.
Like...
It's the last couple of issues.
Gotcha. So
have
they announced who's jumping on after
that? Yes, but I forget who it is.
Huh.
I forget. But yeah, let's see. Hunger in the Dusk, book 2, number 2. Did you read it?
Oh no, I forgot to tell you I didn't get a chance to read that one.
No worries.
You need something I did read?
What did you read?
Dude, Batman Off World number 5. Is anyone else reading this?
Yeah, tell me about it. I read the first issue.
Okay, so I guess the concept is, we know Batman, streets of Gotham fighting like, street level rogues, that type of thing. At some point, an alien comes down and he starts, messing stuff up. Batman's like, dude, I gotta prepare. He's the most prepared guy. He's got to prepare for everything, right? When have we ever seen Batman prepare for extraterrestrial threats? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Is
So
this early
Jason
in his
Aaron,
career?
that's the thing. It could be a story that takes place at a time. This could be a DC Black Label book for as far as I'm concerned. It isn't labeled as such, but you could treat it like it is.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's not. It doesn't. It's not specific where it takes place in Batman's timeline or whatever. But so Batman's off in like another galaxy, trying to gain the abilities and kind of learn how to protect Gotham if it ever comes to it, if an alien threat ever, comes down and is like, hey, we're gonna mess up Gotham. So he is way in over his head at the start of this. He gets like kidnapped by like a an alien like slave trading ring. At this point in the story though, Batman is he could have left. He had everything he needed. He could have gone back to Gotham. But he's like, there's a planet full of orphans that I have to save. It's like the
What?
ultimate Batman thing of all time. So the Black Sun Mining Corporation, these two villains on the front,
Yeah.
he has to go and rescue like a whole planet full of people from these people. And the little one here, he can whisper in your ear and like make you, off, you know, commit whatever. But
Oh, you can.
also
Oh,
you
really?
just go berserk and just start, messing everybody else up. And then she is super strong, even though she doesn't look like it. They're
Yeah.
twins, I guess. I don't know, but it's just a super interesting concept. I think Jason Aaron has great like internal monologue for Batman. Um, Batman is getting just the absolute crap kicked out of him in this series. And Doug Mankey's art is also incredible. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but
Yeah, I am very familiar. He did a run of JLA back in the day.
yeah. So the thing about Doug Mankey's artwork, I mean, just to, I guess, show you guys some,
Yeah,
it's like it's so detailed that this series has taken so long to come out, and it's such
that's
a
right.
classic Doug Mankey problem. It's like, dude, maybe if you, I love all your detail, Doug. I love it, buddy. But maybe if you did like 10%, 20% less, you could get these books out on time.
The way he
Because
draws
it's,
muscles, he draws
yeah,
each literal like muscle fiber.
it's crazy, man. It's like the
Yeah.
most detailed penciling in comics. And there's a series that he did, Swamp Thing Green Hell with Jeff Lemire, DC Black Label series that was also in development hell because of I don't want to point fingers, but I think it was Doug's fault. That's all I'm gonna
Because
say.
there was a
But
big gap between issue 4 and 5 of this of Batman Off World, right? Because
yep,
when you
yep,
said
it's
you were gonna
probably
read it, I was like,
yep.
this must be a mistake.
Right. You probably
It
think
was
the
on your
series
list. I
has
was
been
like, is it
completed
Pat?
already. Yeah.
What?
But no, dude, it is badass, dude. It's totally like unlike anything Batman, but it still feels kind of familiar because it's still Batman trying to save a bunch of orphans. You know what I'm saying?
All
So
right,
I
all
don't know.
right.
I like it a lot.
We got
Yeah,
to rush through everything else real
for
quick.
sure, for sure.
Frankenstein, yay or nay?
Yay, dude. Such a yay.
All right,
An
Batman Dark Age
absolute
number
yay.
5.
That's a yay too.
Okay.
That's a yay. I don't know. Has anyone read Superman Space Age? It's like DC's answer to what is it, Spider-Man Life Story.
Okay.
It's kind of like that concept where they age, they progress in like real time,
Okay.
and it has like references to like the Vietnam War and stuff like that. Like Batman fought in Vietnam, I guess, but
Okay.
stuff like that. So
We'll see. And then Zatanna bringing down the house number 3, yay or nay?
man, that's a yay. I'm sad you guys aren't picking that up.
I'm gonna
That's
get
so
that.
Javier Rodriguez's art is really the pull for me. I just think his art's phenomenal, but
All right. I'm gonna have to get back into it. I read issue 1. I like it, but I gotta jump back on that. That's pretty much it. I think that's everything that we read this week. And it's a lot between the three.
yeah, it
of
was
us.
a big week.
So, thank you guys so much for coming on this episode and talking about everything that you read. Before we get going, though, where can I find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug? Oh, was that Zatanna that you were showing?
Yeah, just showing a panel real quick.
Big old monster bunny? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Ugh, okay. Maggie, where can I find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
You can find me on all social media at Vegan Superkick. Pretty easy to find on the internet. Please also follow my toy store. We're at Toy Vomit on Instagram. We're going to be doing a big move into a 6,000 square foot space in October.
Congrats on that, by the way. That's
Thank you so
crazy.
much. So we're really excited about that. That's really all I got going on. Just working,
All right.
moving.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta ask, Matt. Maybe. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off,
Yeah,
Dimitri. Is this a spoiler, Maggie? Are you doing comics in this toy store thing? I don't know. Is that a?
I don't know. I've been working a lot on organizing and bagging and boarding and pricing comics. So I guess if it's,
That's what I was gonna say. I've seen a lot of videos.
if the universe
Huh,
wants it, if the
interesting.
people want it, I guess I got to do it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Kody, where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, man. You can find me at Kody Collects pretty much everywhere. Uh, TikTok. I don't know. You got the YouTube, got the Instagram, whatever. Main focus is TikTok, I guess, until that app gets shut down by the U.S. government. But that's where you can find me. I also do a podcast with friend of the show, Comic Book Stash. It's called Color Break, a comic book podcast. Supposed to be bi-weekly, but we haven't posted in about a month, so we got to get back on that.
It happens.
Maybe have Dimithri as a guest. Maybe you'll be
if
seeing
you want to have me
Maggie.
on,
I don't know.
you could have me on.
Could be.
You know, I'm more
Yeah,
than...
man. I gotta ask you about that your game show experience, dude. It's so
that
sick.
has nothing
Anyways,
to do with comics.
yeah,
But okay, yeah.
it doesn't have to be.
there were some
It's-
comic book related questions that I did
Right.
that were asked on that run. But okay, enough about me. Let me tell you where you can find me, though, I guess. If you want to find me personally, you can find me at This Is Dimithri on social media. Instagram, easiest way, This Is Dimithri. That's Dimithri with an H. You figure out where it's going to go. If you want to follow The Keeg, you can follow The Keeg on social media, TikTok and Instagram. Those are our two biggest ones. At The Keeg Show. You can also find us on Threads and Twitter and Facebook at The Keeg Show / The Keeg Show. Pretty much everywhere on social media, including patreon.com / The Keeg Show. And now I have ideas on what to put on Patreon. Maybe we do a Somna talk. Because things might get real, Who knows? But patreon.com / The Keeg Show if you want to give back to The Keeg. If you like Comic Talk, which is what this show is, Comic Talk, it's every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about the comics of the week. We also got the Keeg Talks on most weekends, where we talk about movies or TV or whatever. We also got the Keeg Chats, where I talk with different creators, actors, comedians, whatever. It's more like a one-on-one interview, that sort of thing. Been interviewing a lot of comic book writers. And so...
Who you got coming up?
I just interviewed Josh Blaylock. So we have the live stream up, but the podcast version will be coming up soon. And then I just got into talks with another comic book writer, but I can't just say yet. But it'll probably be at the end of September or so.
I don't want to trap you. Once you put it out in the universe and it doesn't happen,
I'm trying to set some things up. There's some cool stuff hopefully coming up. But what was I saying? Oh, if you want to find a comic shop near you, support your local comic shops. Go to comicshoplocator.com. Find a comic shop near you. Find one that you vibe with. If you need recommendations, talk to Maggie. Talk to Kody. If you're in their area, perhaps they.
I've only got 2 comic shops.
Kind
of rough out here in Maine, guys. I don't know.
Nobody's in my area.
Nobody.
I have 2 comic shops in my city alone, and then multiple in the neighboring cities. So I'm kind of lucky here in SoCal, but whatever. That's just me bragging. That's pretty much it. Yes, support your local comic shops, support your local public libraries. That's a big thing, and support your public schools. So support the people that need supporting. Support the local shops and whatnot. And that's pretty much it. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Kody, so much for coming on. Shout out to Comic Book Stash. Shout out to Curly Insane Guy. Everybody on our Twitch chat or our YouTube chat, thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I am your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been another episode of Comic Talk for the week of August 29th, 2024. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Everybody say bye. Bye.
Bye.
See you guys.
super fast. Gotta beat the boss and get the loot, 'cause it's the king.